Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be talking about what the future holds for the private security industry in India. It is a combination of good news for some and bad news for some. So let's get right into it. So what does the future of our private security industry look like? Good news first, that the private security industry in India is slated to grow at 20% CAGR. This has been quoted by the print. Now, not so good news is that only the organized segment of the private security industry in India is going to grow at this rate. The unorganized segment is going to still be a laggard. Now, this is still good news for people who operate as organized players and extremely bad news for people who are unorganized, right? But where will this growth come from? I think there are two major drivers of this growth. One, of course, is demand led. Demand led means that you look at any macro parameter, either globally or at a nation level, and you will find that all these metrics point to an increase in the requirement of private security services. It can be metrics such as geopolitical volatility, extensive urbanization, rising threat of terrorism, etc. All these things point to a definite increase in the size and scope of the private security industry, especially in India. This one is still an obvious driver which will lead this growth, but the non-obvious driver is efficiency-led gains. What does this mean? As and when more and more PSAs start integrating more technologically based solutions, and as more and more PSAs start moving away from the inefficient headcount-led models to more intelligent business models such as assets under protection, which I've spoken about at length in one of my other videos, and I'll put the link in the description, the PSAs will become more efficient in how they operate. These efficiencies will stem into cost savings, which will further lead to an expansion of the bottom line, which is expansion of their profits, right? So PSA is getting more technologically advanced, using more automation and employing more intelligent business models will lead to such efficiency gains. So these demand-led gains and these efficiency-led gains is what will become the driver of this 20% annual growth. But one thing is very clear, that growth will occur only through disruption. So here I will explain two major problems with the existing business model of PSAs, the headcount-led model of PSAs. One is that this business model inherently generates distrust with the end client. And you will find the reasoning as to why this creates distrust in the video that I've tagged in the description, right? But simply put, the end client today is not really trusting of the PSAs that they have hired. The second major flaw with the existing business model is that they have led to the commoditization of security services. What I mean is that everybody knows in the market, the end client knows in the market that a PSA can at max charge 3 to 7% service charge over and above what they've asked for as in terms of their guard salary, right? The moment a PSA wants to charge more, wants to charge a premium, they face two risks. The one is they risk losing out to insourcing of guards by the end client, or they risk losing out to any other PSA who's still working with that minimal service charge that they can ask for. So the upside to that extent is extremely limited for the PSA. So what should be the strategy in this case? The strategy is two-pronged. One is that you have to realize that existing beliefs have to be broken. The traditional ways of working are done and dusted. You need to have that open-mindedness to think outside of the box because the industry landscape is evolving in such a manner, right? So what I mean is that you have to start looking at problems from a first principles approach, right? What has gotten you here will not get you there. The second thing is that just thinking about it or just conceptualizing things is not enough anymore. The industry is changing fast and you risk losing out to more intelligent competitors. So stop thinking and start focusing on executing. Just thinking is not enough. You will have to invest time, effort, money, energy as a PSA if you really want to win in the market. And there are PSAs who tell me that, we are not ready to put this investment of time, effort, money, energy upfront. We first want to see the results and then maybe, invest in that. But that is not how business is done. Business starts with an investment, an intelligent one, a calculated one, and that gets you the result. So here, the most value will be unlocked by those PSAs, those private security agencies who stay ahead of the curve because they will get the opportunity to shape a majority of how the new landscape will look like. So if you want to be in control, you have to start executing today. So again, this is not so good news which is not all PSAs will survive in the future. So as on date, there are about 25,000 plus licensed PSAs in India. A lot of people believe that with increasing demand for the private security services, there will be a jump in the number of PSAs that exist. So they believe that this 25,000 will become 50,000 going forward. I have a contrary view. I believe that today the 1 crore guards that we have, that number is going to come down, because truth be told, majority of the guards are low quality guards. So as and when your end client becomes smarter, more intelligent, they will ask for quality work. And with technological solutions being integrated into the suite of security services that a PSA can offer, the reliance on headcount will go down. So this 1 crore, the number of guards in India, this will come down. What this will lead to is a reduction in the number of PSAs in India as well, right? So from the current 25,000, maybe this number will slightly go up to 30,000, 30,000 plus, but then eventually the curve will start shifting downwards. And I envision that there will be less than 50% of the PSAs which will survive the transformative onslaught that is imminent in the private security industry. Simply because more hardworking, more intelligent competition will obliterate the laggards. Now think about the food aggregator industry, right? Maybe 10 years back, there were multiple food aggregators. And even though the food aggregator market has expanded like anything, today we have only two, because they were the most intelligent ones. They either acquired everybody else or they put them out of competition. As simple as that. And this is exactly what is going to be replicated in the private security industry in India. The disruptive transformation, the timeline of that, according to me, will be the next 2 to 5 years, because today the kind of technological advancements that we have seen are making the end client more and more intelligent. And this end client is going to drive the transformation, not the PSA. That is another thing to keep in mind. So what's a good starting point if you are a PSA and listening to this and you want to really be ahead of the curve, as I said, then I think client retention is the first opportunity to go after. Why? Because you already have the foundation, you already have the client base. That is your primary input for the strategy, right? So you need not go anywhere outside. You have everything with you. You just need to optimize on that. So what I've seen is that most PSAs focus on capturing new business, but the real white space, as I've said, is client retention, which will lead to one, more profits because retaining a client is cheaper than acquiring a new one, and expansion of business because a satisfied client, a retained client, is more likely to give you business than your outbound efforts. So referral based business expansion is a positive externality of focusing on client retention. But what needs to be understood here is that you might employ any client retention plan, strategy, whatever, right? But the end objective of any and all client retention strategies, especially in the security industry, should be to generate massive trust with your end client. So no matter what you do or how you do it, you must be focusing on developing that massive trust factor with your end client. So once you have done that, trust becomes your biggest differentiator from your competition. Once the end client trusts you, they will not be able to replace you easily, right? And the second thing is that now that you have established this massive trust, you start controlling the narrative. The end client wants to hear from you as to what they require in terms of security setup. Now you become a true security partner for your end clients. So I hope in this short video, I was able to tell you what the future holds for the private security industry in India, and also give you actionable tips as to what you can do to capture the massive value that is still out there to be unlocked. We are 360 PSA and we work with only a handful selected private security agencies in India to make them the kings of this industry. And that is why we say, make your PSA simply the best. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. If you liked it, then please share it in your network and subscribe to the Hardened Civilian YouTube channel. We'll see you in the next video.